Shalom, shalom. Kal halalim Yahweh Eloheinu Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakodash. In this day and age, where a lot of men who, for example, that have never had the attributes to acquire a female as a mate, you know, and what they call what's the modern term, incel, right? As well as your creepy guys that don't, you know, which whether women find them attractive or not is another thing. And especially in this world where the human contact has been limited, and then on top of that, where where with the purity of a male and female union has been destroyed with modern technology, gadgets, and with the influx of um, pornography in this world as well. A lot of men out there have become have become crazy and deranged. And I mean, this conversation started with one of my coworkers. She's a Moabite, and she was talking about being followed home. And then at the same time, I was talking to another coworker of mine, an Edomite lady, an Edomite female, Polish chick. She goes that she gets pretty much followed and harassed every day, But the Moabite girl, from the most part, doesn't dress provocatively. She doesn't even wear heavy makeup. She would just dress like kind of like a tomboy. And the Edomite girl dresses, short skirts and heavy makeup and stuff like that. And they both get harassed, and they get followed home. They get followed by Uber guys. They get followed by your regular men, and a lot of these men um, are being, you know, I don't know what their personal situation is. A lot of these men uh, are getting to the point where, where women dress provocatively, or where women act a certain way, and they try and approach them, and they get talked down upon. Why are you looking at me, and why you, get away from me, and all that kind of thing. Granted, okay, a woman has the option of saying no to a man if she doesn't find him attractive, which is understandable, right? Um, but then again, there's men out there, you know, that take care of themselves, and you know, women act a certain way because they have the upper hand in this world, because this whole world is uh, based around women worship. You know, in this world, a woman can do no wrong. In this world, um, they always put the woman first. Or even men bend down on one knee to ask their wife, or their or girlfriend, to be their wife. When it should be the other way around. Because as the scriptures say, the woman is created for the man. The man was not created for the woman, and the woman is created as a helpmeet, you know, a pillar of rest for her man. And in this world, all these things have been taken away. Okay. Whereas in the East, okay, you can be the most ugliest mofo, right? Okay. They have a culture there where a man, right, can have a wife, So even though, Ishmael and Elam and them lot, they have a real heavy grape culture as well, But for the most part, they have that area taken care of, where they hit 18, 19, they might be a farmer or something, or they might live in the city and they might be so-called educated. Their parents will arrange for them to get married at a certain age because they know that every young man, red blood young man, needs to have a wife and a woman. Especially when she gets to that age, she's a young woman. They both have that itch that needs to be scratched, and they know that, as I say, yin and yang, and that balance is required between male and female. You know, because when you become a man, you don't cleave to your parents. You need to cleave to your wife, and the wife needs to cleave to her husband. So you become one flesh. So most men, say in the East, they have a culture where you get married. So that there's that balance where you know how it is to be a young man when you're 18, 19 years old. You got a girlfriend when you're a young man, or as you progress through life, you have that balance because at the end of the day, we're men, especially us, Israelite men. You know, we have a desire to be with a woman that's attractive, and of course, she's got to be single. That's a major stipulation there. Okay, and you know, in this world, right? Um, Especially so-called Edomite culture, even though they don't really have a culture. Okay, they've damaged this world so much. Because I remember in the '90s where there was a heavy era of, uh, you know, even though it was still catered to the woman, but women would approach men on a regular basis, and also vice versa. There was a heavy so-called, I don't want to get corny with it. There was a heavy romance culture back then, especially with the R&B, and music at that time was, even though it was wicked at that time as well, but there was a really sort of emphasis on getting together with a woman. Now these days, I don't know what the youngsters are doing now, but I don't really see a lot of young couples walking around. And back when I was their age, you would always see young couples on the bus and on the train and in their cars, and you would walk by. There'd be an alleyway or something. There'd be some young schoolboy who's maybe 16, up against the wall with his girlfriend. It'll be always scenes like that. Nowadays, you see these young lads, they're always on their own with their head in their phone, and these young girls, with their head in their phone, you know, and it's got to that point where sometimes these desires are being withheld, and it's got to the point, especially with men that women don't really like, or what they call creepy. Um, I know, they are, um, even supposedly men that take care of themselves, but these men that don't have access to a woman, and they will never, and most women don't require them, and the women that they desire are what they say out of their league, right? Um, they're getting frustrated, okay? And I was just thinking, once hell breaks loose, it's going to be really bad out here for you women, man. You know, because women are being followed now on a heavy basis, man. Men are getting tired of women's BS, women's nonsense. They dress provocatively. Um, they're out on their own because really a woman is not supposed to be out on her own. She's either should be escorted by her father until, in the ancient world, of course, in the ideal world, she should be escorted by her father, her brothers, um, and then until she gets married, and then she'll be escorted. She'll be with her husband. Okay, that's how it should be, you know. Um, but sometimes these women like to be out and about. They like to get attention. You see how these gym videos, women wearing them yoga pants, dressing provocatively, and they always turn around and look to see if anybody's, uh, looking at them because they're so-called. See, attention is like a drug to a woman. Okay, okay, and if you don't look at them, and especially if they find you attractive, okay, and you know, um, they get really angry, you know. And if they've tried to talk to you, for example, if you're uh, somebody that works in a building where you don't, there's been many companies under one roof, and a woman tries to talk to you, like maybe, I don't know, let's say it's even in a canteen or something, she starts to say hello to you, and then you ignore her next time. She's wondering, huh? I'm a beautiful woman. How come he's ignoring me? And they get really, really angry because a woman's mind, right, doesn't really grow past a certain age. That's why they need to be led, because most modern women don't really have any scruples. Okay, um, and that's real like that. And most women would agree, the ones that have to have some common sense. But sense is not very common these days. And see, attention is like a drug to a woman. Like you see a heroin addict or a crackhead, right? Fiending for their fix because their body is sick, their body is going through turmoil. That same thing happens to a woman spiritually, you know? And as they age, because they don't have that glow in their skin anymore, they pile on makeup as soon as they hit their 30s and 40s. Because when they're 18, 19, 20, 21, they have to put a little bit on. Um, and they have that glow in their skin, that plump in their skin, that collagen in their skin. Them hips and curves are, ripe. They look great. As soon as they get a little older, they may lose some of that collagen, and then they pile on the makeup to still get that attention because they want to be desired. Okay. Even if they have a man, they still want that attention. Okay. Which goes to show women that are that, that have that kind of mindset are not right, because they should be only desired by her husband. And a woman's, as the scriptures say, a woman's desire should be towards her husband, not worry about other men. And a woman should, if she wants to get made up, sensibly, she should be getting made up for her husband. You know, if she steps out of the house, she's made up, she's dressed appropriately, she should be with her husband. Other than that, she shouldn't really be made up. She's got to do, because in this world, in this so-called modern world, our wives and so-called girlfriends or whatever have to function. They've got to go work, and they've got to go to the store. While these stores are still here, but they're closing very fast also. Excuse me. And so, you know, with everything, the human contact being taken away, um, and a lot of people minds getting warped and deranged with porn and all these imaginary scenarios you know where they show situations like people are trying to portray in real life. For example, some of these guys that are from foreign countries that live in the West, they've got this warped idea about so-called Western women. And for the most part, it's true. They think that they're going to follow a woman to her apartment by dropping some Uber Eats or something off, and they're going to think that it's going to just erupt into a sex scene, like out of one of their favorite porn scenes. They actually believe that. And see, a lot of these martial law troops, when they come over here, especially men from foreign countries, Edomites from abroad, where their country is predominantly full of Edomite women, right? They want these exotic looking women, right? Women of different shades and hair textures, and and then on top of that, and men from the east that will be part of the martial law troops as well, that have never been around Edomite women. They'll be desiring a lot of Edomite women, because they'll be desiring things that they've never felt and touched. Okay, and they're fantasized about. And a lot of these men that have come here illegally or illegally are actually acting out on it now. All right, and this is happening while these 911 in the States and 999 in the UK, which is the emergency number for the police, still exists. Okay, because once hell breaks loose, it's really going to be bad out here for you women. All right, and I mean, there's two women at work, right? They've mentioned this. One was a Moabite, one was a Polish woman, and as you can see, uh, there's a lot of um, women going through this situation, and some of them are in the last 10 months, you know, 3 months, women going running alone, you know, because most Edomite women that take care of themselves look damn good, but a lot of us that have a fairly balanced mind, you know, that have daughters of our own, whether you're in a relationship or not, know that We don't have a warped mind where we're going to do this to a woman because, listen, most men want to be desired by a woman, and when you get that woman, you want to have that mutual admiration and desire towards each other, so you can enjoy yourselves. When you take it to the sheets. But some of these other men out here that you know don't that have an issue in that area, um, or have been done wrong by their wives or girlfriends, or have their mind warped with porn, and have a warped idea because the purity out of a relationship and marriage and sex has been destroyed, man. The romantic aspect, because when you're with a woman, it should be done romantically, not in this warped way like they show in these sleazy movies, you know. Um, so all the purity out of it has been taken away, and I mean, there's so many instances where men are following women home. There's another one here on the show. Okay, here's this short I want to play. Let me see who this guy is.
On my fucking door. Bye. You do not touch nobody's fucking door.
I don't know, it's Ishmael or Elam. Ishmael is the so-called Arabs. Well, that's Elam. It could be, there's so many brown people on this planet, so we don't know who's who. But from what I can tell, look, I'm going to see again, probably Ishmael or Elam, Arab or East Indian. And obviously, by the voice, that is a so-called black woman, okay? And Uber Eats driver tries to break into woman's house. She grabs her strap just in time. Okay. Now he's probably been watching. Okay, let's play it before I say anything else.
Bye. You just tried to open my door. You an Uber driver delivering food. No, you tried to open my motherfucking door. I should have got the shooting through the door on your motherfucking ass. Yes. No, I'm on my fucking door. Bye. You do not touch nobody's fucking door. Bye. You just tried to open my door. You an Uber driver delivering food. No, you tried to open my motherfucking door. I should have got the shooting through the door on your motherfucking ass. Yes. No, I'm on fucking.
Okay. Now, what would make a man just want to open up a woman's front door? They've got a warped idea. Okay. Because if there's these stories that you hear what Ishmael does, especially in Dubai, these millionaires and billionaires, because this is the heathen's world at the moment under the rulership of the Edomites, the so-called white man. Okay, now they know who the Israelites are, and they're gonna purchase these Instagram models and all of these pros from the West, and most of the time they're so-called black or Hispanic women. They do their own women dirty as well, but for the most part, they get the daughters of Israel. Okay, and they, even if they sign a contract, they say to them, okay, you're gonna be. They sign a contract, and the woman thinks that she's just gonna be arm candy for Ishmael. Okay, and lo and behold, she goes there, right, and she gets done dirty, probably by 15, 20 guys. They pay her and all that, but they do her wrong. Okay, so it'd be like so-called like a gang, BANG. Okay, and they do her dirty like that. And what can she do? Number one, you're in a foreign country in the East, so-called Middle East. Number two, these guys are billionaires, millionaires. They've got some clout and some power. Who are you going to run to? So she had to grin and bear it, And then afterwards, she lived to tell the tale, flew back to the States, and this was documented. It was on several podcasts, and this happens all the time. Where Ishmael does this, okay, and that happens over there, and then you got these guys from different parts of the world, even Edomites, following, every nationality of man, by the way, okay, having a warped idea, like they can just walk into a woman's home or try to get in, and then she's just gonna drop her pants and say, okay, yeah, do me, you know, and this is because Esau's world is foul, okay. They've destroyed the connection between male and female. And then on top of that, a lot of these men have warped idea. Why? Because it's this access to PORN. Okay. And then on top of that, I mean, there was a situation where it was an Edomite male, right? He agreed to escort two Ammonite women, okay, Japanese women. Um, and what happened was, just to sort of be their guide, I believe it was Germany, somewhere in Europe. And he said towards the end of the day, asked the two Ammonite women, Japanese women, this Edomite guy, Caucasian guy said, let's have a threesome, But like I said, he's got a deranged, warped idea. Okay, that's why a lot of Edomite men are marrying uh, Asian women because they've got a fetish. Okay, and I've been seeing that a lot. Every time I see an Edomite woman, she's either, I'm sorry, Edomite man, she's with an Asian woman, and they've got a fetish. And yeah, the women denied that Edomite guy, saying, "Okay, no, we don't want a threesome." And what did Esau do? Esau pushed one of them off a cliff or something. You know. Let me see if I can find a news story actually. Man, jeez. No, that's not it. After, okay, okay, this is probably it. White American man. Oh, suspect who pushed two women off German cliff. Two American women. No, let me see if this is the one. Edomite man that pushed the two Asian American women off a cliff in Germany. Okay, they were Asian American, so more than likely they could speak English. I assume they couldn't speak English. Okay, so these girls are from the West. Okay, so Edomite man that pushed the two Asian women off a cliff in Germany. So he was an Edomite man from Germany. Was talking to a Thai woman during that time. They were likely targeted because of race. Okay, they're gonna think that, yeah, this guy. Okay, one second. He did ask them. I read this somewhere and I heard it as well. Okay, the scumbag was chatting with a Thai woman during that time. He pushed those two women off the cliff. He even shared photos of what looked to be two people near a cliff. Apparently, he lured them to that location, saying it was some romantic view, even though that path they took was clearly an isolated area. This is why you should never trust a random person you just met led to some remote area. Okay, now, one second. No, that wasn't. That does sound right, but he did ask them for a threesome. Let me see. This one has more information. He killed one. Hmm. Okay, I don't want to deviate from it, but the fact of the matter is, okay, whether these reports are being covered up, but this was on YouTube, so I'll find the video and post it at some point. Um, so he tried to lure them there to a remote spot, asked them, you know, do you want to have a threesome? They denied it, and then he tried to push both of them off a cliff. Okay, it was a German Edomite man, right, speaking to two Ammonite women, Japanese women. Okay, so let's see if it's here as well. Um, it's here. Yeah, these two. One was deleted, the other one survived.
So it was just discovered that.
Let me see what this is saying. I remember hearing it that it was because he asked for a threesome. Hmm.
That the American man who pushed two Asian American women off of a cliff where they fell over 165 feet in Germany, that he was texting another woman in Thailand just moments before he decided to strangle, sexually assault, and try to murder these two women, acting as if everything was just fine and dandy and he was just going on a regular.
So he said there was a sexual assault involved as well. Okay, so even in that, see, why wasn't the sexual assault part mentioned in that news report I just read? Okay, they put the pushing part, they put the race aspect, but they didn't talk about the sexual aspect. Okay, so they're always going to mask certain things. Why? To protect the Edomite male. Okay, one report said that he asked him for a threesome. Okay, he took him to a remote spot. He said, "Okay, let me shoot my shot over here. Let me see if I can get a threesome with these two Asian girls or Japanese women, who they're known as Ammonites in the Bible. Right? They're in a remote spot, so if they have a tantrum, I won't get embarrassed." Okay, just think about it. And so there was a sexual assault involved. It wasn't just some Edomite hating on Ammonite women saying, "Oh, I just want to delete you." You know. So there's other news stories out there definitely, because I remember hearing about this is about a month ago.
Hike. So after graduating from the University of Illinois, two friends, 22-year-old Kelsey Chang and 21-year-old Ava Liu, decided to travel through Europe. And on Wednesday, June 14th, they decided to go see Neuschwanstein Castle. While Ava and Kelsey were on this bridge, they met a fellow American traveler, 30-year-old Troy Bowling.
Okay, he was an American Edomite, not German Edomite. Okay. Okay, he wasn't a Temanite Edomite. He was as an Edomite from the West. Okay, tried to strike a rapport by using the angle. Oh, I'm from the States as well.
Who told Kelsey and Ava that there was a very romantic hidden viewpoint from where they were able to get a very good view of the castle. And as you can tell from
Now, using the angle, there's a very romantic viewpoint. Now, if he's using the term romantic viewpoint and both women are going with him, women should know that, okay, he's using the term romantic, he's being extra nice, we're alone with him. The track record of men today, as well, especially the so called white man, just think about it, you know? And it's stupid as well. Why would two women just travel alone? It's crazy. And for the most part, they look like to be okay looking women too, you know?
this photo, it's a slightly secluded path that's very rugged where you literally just walk down all of these tree roots. After getting them down to this lookout point, Troy proceeds to attack Ava, and when Kelsey runs over to help Ava, Troy chokes Kelsey before throwing her off the cliff, then goes on to essay Ava before throwing her off the 160-foot plus cliff as well. Kelsey was fortunate enough that after falling 165 feet, a tree branch broke her fall, and she was able to survive. However, Ava, who initially survived the fall, did succumb to her wounds the next day.
Troy initially ran but was immediately caught by police. Eric Abneri from New York was visiting the castle when he filmed the rescue and arrest.
His face was covered in deep red scratch marks and his neck as well. There was clearly a struggle there, and he just had a frown on his face. He didn't say anything. He had a sort of disturbed look.
As I stated at the beginning, just moments before he pushed Kelsey and Ava off of the 160-foot cliff, Troy was texting a friend that he made in Thailand while playing an online game months before. The woman in Thailand came forward with a text that showed that she and Troy were texting all day since that morning. He texted her a picture of the trail stating that he climbed 100 meters of just climbing tree roots, sending selfies of himself smiling as if he's just on another hike. Also, quick note, take notice of the exact clothes and the hat that he's wearing. Now, it hasn't been confirmed if the people in this photo are Kelsey and Ava, but he also sent a photo of two people squatting right near the edge of the cliff at the exact lookout just moments before. Remember earlier when I said to take note of what he was wearing, just to prove that the person in the text was the person that got arrested. Troy is being held in Bavaria and will not be extradited to the United States and will instead stand trial in Bavaria and is being charged with murder, attempted murder, and SA. Ava graduated from the University of Illinois with a bachelor's and her master's in computer science, sexually assault and try to murder these two women, acting as if everything was just fine and dandy and he was just going on a regular.
Okay, so he caught the sexual assault part. Okay, there's another news story. It was mentioned that he asked him for a threesome. Okay, and if you look at that guy, he looks that kind of type as well. You know, being an Edomite, thinking that he can have what he wants, he can just take. Right? Let me see if there's any more. Some of these stories are a little bit older.
What to do if you're being followed by a car. Always make sure your doors and windows are.
Okay.
This woman just escapes a man chasing her to her apartment. A woman from New York was terrified as she fumbled the keys trying to open the door. She said she noticed a man following her home from work. He even entered her apartment building, and this is when things get scary. She fumbles the keys as she tries to open the door, but just as the man rounds the corner, she falls inside and shuts the door. This woman just escapes a man chasing her to her apartment.
It's happening the other way around as well. Look at Jake here. This ugly ass old Edomite woman trying to kiss up on Jake, but he's an Uber driver. Look at him, nasty. Oof. There you go, another one.
Yo, what are you doing? Brother, what are you doing this in my house here? What are you doing? Brother, what are you doing?
See, that's Elam there, more than likely a Pakistani Muslim. That they do shit. They're notorious for this shit in the UK. Elam.
Month of Ramadan, you doing stuff like this?
See, month of Ramadan, which is that Muslim shit.
Brother, month of Ramadan. What are you doing? I said sorry. What the fuck are you doing?
Drunk.
Listen.
It's a drunk Edomite girl. See, this girls travel on their own. This is what happens when you're drunk. Okay, there's so many stories online of mini cab drivers, which we have in the UK, similar to Uber driver, taxi drivers. That would befriend young girls, get them drinks and put something in their drink, get them drunk and drugged up, and they'll find their location where they're at, go back to their apartment. Like in America, you have college dorms. Here in the UK, they have like a similar situation. They have the dorms where they'd take the girl back to her apartment and they'd plow the shit out of her because she'll be drunk and knocked out. And all the girl does the next day is she's shocked and just pushes the guy out, doesn't even call the police. Because some of these girls are from Eastern backgrounds and they're scared to say something. A lot of these Edomite chicks are scared to say something because they're shocked, and they're just thankful that they look in the mirror that they're still alive. A lot of men do this sort of shit, man. Like, it's crazy world.
Listen, this is disgusting, mate. I've got kids inside here. You're fucking and not. What are you doing? What taxi are you? Bro, sorry. Yeah? You're fucking raping a girl in the back, you dirty bastard. Yo, there's a little kid in the back of this car. Yo, what are you doing? Brother, what are you doing this in my house here? What are you doing? Brother, what are you doing? Month of Ramadan, you doing stuff like this? Brother, month of Ramadan. What are you doing? Sorry. What the fuck are you doing? Listen, this is disgusting, mate. I've got kids inside here. You're fucking and not. What are you doing? What taxi are you? Bro, sorry. Yeah? You're fucking raping a girl in the back, you dirty bastard. Yo, there's a little kid in the back of this car.
See, there's a piece of shit there. The drunk Edomite girl looks like to be a blonde, knocked out in the back, probably came from a club. And this guy speaks proper English as well. This is Northern England. They got that Northern England accent, and it's full of Elam. These Pakistanis and stuff. So we see an array of different men. You got Edomite men doing this. You got Jake chasing women. You got Ishmael trying to get into a so-called black woman's house. You got Elam trying to grab up on women. You got Edomite men sexually assaulting women, Ammonite women, and deleting one. And there was the news story connected to that. He did ask them for a threesome, but like I said, the Ammonite guy or the Moabite guy brought out the story. He said it was a sexual assault. And when I read the news caption on the Insider or that news report, it didn't mention nothing about a sexual assault. And then one story said that he asked him for a threesome. So they're trying to hide this guy's background of what he actually tried to do, trying to cover Esau's nastiness. Okay, because they couldn't hide the fact that he deleted one because there's a body involved, but they try to cover other aspects and they try to sort of like paint it with a sort of more with a different brush, trying to take the so-called, I don't know, the best out of a worst situation, if that's the correct way to say it, so even the so-called powers that be in the news media do try and make their own, the Edomite man, look better as well in the world, in the news world. Okay, when they do report it. But here there's an Elamite here. Look at it. This is what they do. This is what they do, man. And you women, okay, this is happening now when the so-called government hasn't toppled yet. And how much more when this place completely falls. Okay, you women are proud. You dress stupidly. Okay, because attention is a drug. Okay, when a woman's curves and hips and breasts and things like that need to be covered up. Okay, granted, some beautiful women are very, very well blessed and they're well endowed and they've got the curves and they've got the slim, flat stomach and they've got the perky chest area. They're blessed, especially our Northern Kingdom women. and some other women of other nations too. Okay, and even if they wear looser outfits and long dresses, you can still see all that loveliness. But at the end of the day, it's better to sort of still cover it up, because as well as I do, as a man, when you do look at a woman and she's covered up and she's attractive, there's a certain amount of a little bit of extra respect you do have, especially when a woman carries herself different, you know. But modern women and technology and the purity being taken out of the sexual interaction between male and female, and you know whether men are being denied uh, bedroom activity with women or not is another thing. But there's a lot of men out here that are doing things like this, and it's going to get more and more and more, because you women have brought this on yourself. You want to be uh, feminist, okay? You don't want a man, and then you go. Um, what was that one where uh, the Players Club? That girl from the Players Club. She was fine back in 1997. Players Club actress. Players Club. I forgot her name. There's what's her name? Lisa Ray. That's it. Lisa Ray. Lisa Ray. Lisa Ray needs a man. One second. There's a little short of her. There's a video of her talking about it. Here we go. A lot of you women, right?
I feel like I've been helping.
A lot of you women have, followed that trend of independent woman. When Beyonce is actually married, you women. I mean, Beyonce came out with a song back in 2007 called "Cater to You," where she's talking about taking care of a man and brushing Jake's hair, tying his do rag, and cooking for him, cleaning for him, and then when he wants some in the bedroom, she's going to give it to him, And then she comes out with independent women, you know. I think just after that, I believe, you know. And then you got all these songs about independent, Miss Independent. That song, I forgot the guy's name. Who sang Miss Independent? Uh, Miss Independent. Yeah, by Neo. Neo sang that song, Miss Independent. So you got Jake singing as well. But Miss Independent doesn't need a man. Those toys, get played out after a little while. There's nothing like the real thing. Skin to skin connection between male and female, and a woman wants that. How many Duracell batteries can she buy? How many toys can she get? They get that drug of attention from men, but then they age like a mofo. They don't have children. I don't know whether she's got children or not. Okay, and then after they've denied so many men, decent men that wanted to actually be with them, right? Then they settle. That's why you see, a lot of women that are quite, you can tell by looking at them, okay, maybe 25 years ago, they would have been super fine. They're with some old ass cracker, or some other weirdo, because for a fact they have to settle because they're not getting that attention anymore. Okay, and deep down they feel gutted inside, thinking that 25 years ago, this guy who looked like this and he was this and he was her own kind or whatever, tried to ask her out and she denied him. Because she was the SHIT back then. And then with the feminist thing, and then women being put on a pedestal, and women, swallowing that drug of attention, and they're being asked out by men left, right, and center of all nations, and they're being desired by men of other nations as well as their own. They just swallowed it up, and they could pick and choose. And then they said, okay, I'm not going to have children. I don't want to be settled down. I don't want to be cooking and cleaning, because YouTube is basically, it's called YouTube influencing, which is basically influencing the mind of people. Okay, you have these shorts, you have these YouTube videos, you have Instagram. Generation Z is completely gone, man. Okay, and then you got even people in their 40s and 50s being influenced by it. That's what's called YouTube influencing. They influence your mind to think in a warped way. So you got to take this with a grain of salt. Okay, all right. Sometimes you get to the point where you're watching short after short after short, and you got to snap out of it and say, "What the hell am I doing?" And jump onto one of the Prophet's videos and get yourself back on track. Seriously. Anyway, let's just check this out. And you women are gonna have a real horrible wake up call when this thing goes down. A lot of you women, that like to, as you say, milk a man and jump from rod to rod, and uh, the COCK carousel, that's coined by Elder Malcolm of GMS Chicago. You like to do things like that. You're going to be on that carousel for real. And it's not going to be with men that you find cute. Oh, I like the color of his eyes. I like the way he wears that muscle shirt. I like his braids or whatever. Or I like his fade. Or I like his haircut. Or I like that. I like Jose. Or I like Leroy or whatever. I like, whatever. I'm just throwing out some instances out there. Or, I like his gray eyes or whatever. Ain't going to be like that. It's going to be some fat, hairy gorilla type Ammonite, Moabite, or a cracker Edomite on top of you. And they're going to be lined up. Okay? You're going to be Miss Independent. You're going to be Miss Independent, right? Okay? You're going to be Miss Independent. And Miss Independent's going to deal with everything independently. You're going to have to fight them off. You're going to try to fight them off. Your fake nails are going to break. Okay? And after they've ravaged you, they might even eat you. It's seriously you're gonna be trodden down as a mire of the streets. Let's play this.
Everybody else do they, and then it's like, well, what about my? And then they can't help me with my at all. I just want to find a companion. I know you do. I can't even go on online dating because I did that. I'm waiting for a friend to do it. Nope, that ain't working either. You know what I mean? You just got to be patient, Paul. How patient more do I have to be? God, have you heard of the rose? Funny. You don't need the rose because you got your own internal rose. What's the rose? It don't work for me, but it's a vibrator. It don't work for me. I was trying to do it with the rabbit, and it didn't work either. The rabbit is like the dildo with the little tickler, and then the vibration and the motion. I'm finna go. No, it's supposed to be real good, right? I don't see, do those. When I get to doing it, and I be like, oh, no, and then I stop. So I need the physical body on me. The body. Because that's what turns me on. I feel like I've been helping.
There you go. Okay, those machines only works for so long. Let's read some comments here as well. A good example of why women need to stop saying, I don't need a man. Look at, here's a woman here saying, Jasmine Matix, 5019. A man's touch is everything. And that's 3.8k subscribers. 3.8k thumbs up, almost 4,000 in the space of 4 weeks. And most of them are women. That a man's touch is everything. And she's emphasized is everything. See, women need that touch. They don't want to be independent anymore. But for some of you women, it's going to be okay. For some of you women, it's not going to be okay. All right? And now we're reaching to the end of the society, Now you're trying to come back to your senses. When you've been having time for the last couple of years, to get your shit together. For some of you women, it's going to be too late. For some of you women, that have got some kind of common sense and you look decent as well, you may be okay. Okay, another woman here saying June saying facts. Loyal Queen, amen. Ashley Robertson, facts. Anna goes bananas, yes. Look at that. She got the bullseye, 24 thumbs up. As long as he doesn't have STDs, of course. What about you women? You mostly got STDs. How many rods you've had? Look at that. Someone made a comment here. She was difficult to deal with when she was in her prime. Ain't no wonder no one wants to deal with her now. Kevin Samuel was telling the truth. No, actually, the men of the Lord were telling the truth, and they've been telling the truth prior to Kevin Samuels. And somebody did ask Kevin Samuels. I don't know who it was. I think it was one of the prophets, because I think Kevin used to live in Atlanta. So maybe it was one of the brothers from the Atlanta camp. I don't recollect the individual's name. And he did ask Kevin, do you watch Great Millstone? He goes, yes, he does watch Great Millstone. So he's been watching the men of the Lord, man. Okay, the men that we learn from. Okay. Isaiah 32 and 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Okay? You've been at ease. You get all the good jobs. You know, you go to these companies with Edomites everywhere and heathen men, especially Edomite men. They'll have, they'll have plenty of brown women, women of all nations, that are exotic looking and super attractive. Okay? Right? But very rarely they have Jake up in there. And if they do, they're going to have some, a Jake that's not so intimidating. Very rarely you see a Jake in there that's sharp, who's about 6'2", 6'3", I mean, that's here in the UK. I don't know how he's in the States, okay, but the work environment's over here, okay? That's what I've noticed, okay? And then on top of that, women, women get everything handed to them. They easily get a job. They may not know the job so well, but if they look good, they're going to get the job, okay? Especially if the man interviewing them is an Edomite male or a male in general. Okay, they're gonna get, especially Israelite women, they're gonna get everything handed to them, and that's done by design. That's why you see a lot of Israelite women, okay, or women in general, with really good jobs, okay. But the men, for the most part, don't have the same opportunities as the women, okay, because women have been put on a pedestal, okay, and the scriptures do say where a woman will compass a man, and these women have had a lot of ease, okay. And the Lord is saying, rise up. Okay, Isaiah 32 and 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Okay, let me get that woman compasses a man. There you go. Jeremiah 31:22. How long wilt thou go about? I want to speak low. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Jeremiah 31 and 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. Okay? They have compassed a man. Okay? In this society, a woman can do no wrong. Okay, yeah, there's exceptions, but for the most part, modern women can do no wrong. A woman can smack a man in the mouth. A woman can hit a man, and these dumb men have been taught by their mothers, especially Jake. Oh, don't hit a girl! Don't hit a girl! You're not supposed to hit a woman. You're not supposed to hit a woman. But a woman can hit a man. A man can be a punch bag for a woman. But if a man responds with a slap or a punch back, oh, you're not a man. You're not a man. Okay? So what makes a woman then? Huh? What makes a woman then? A woman is supposed to be comforting. The woman is supposed to teach the women how to be good wives and mothers and daughters, how to cook and clean, how to be feminine, how to shut the F up. Okay, when a man has had when a husband has had a stressful day. Okay? Okay? And if you think that a man hitting a woman back is not him being a man, well, then you shouldn't hit him in the first place. I thought you wanted equality. Equality means equality, equal both ways. Okay, whatever he does to you, whatever you do to him, he can do it back to you. You can't have equality on your terms, women. Okay, or ladies, and I use that term ladies very loosely. Okay, okay. Women show how to be chaste. Paraphrase. Here we are. Titus 2. Titus, excuse me. Titus 2, verses 4 and 5. That. Okay, 1 second. Let's go to verse 3. The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. That the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. Separate, okay? Not false accusers, okay? A lot of women like to do false accusing these days, getting Jake locked up. Not false accusers, not giving too much wine, okay? You can have a drink, but drink in moderation and drink at home with your man, okay? And stay inside the house at a certain time. Not giving to too much wine. Teachers of good things, okay? Okay, not telling your daughter to say, go out there and play the field and be with every man, okay? All right. You're supposed to teach them good things. Okay? Tell them to stay away from certain men. Okay? And if they've got a father or older brother, to try and get them married off at a certain age. But obviously, we're in modern society, and if you haven't grown up in the Eastern ways, right, the Israelite way, women are going to gather abroad, man. They're going to do all sorts of nastiness. But Thwadi how Bashim Yashar, we're at the end of this society. Very soon, things are going to change for the better. Okay, so the aged women, likewise, that they be in behavior as become with holiness, not false accusers, not given to too much wine, teachers of good things. Verse 4, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. Okay, now is that happening these days? Yeah, you got women telling Jake, "Oh, I'm quitting my job. You pay all the bills. I just want to be on the computer all day." They don't love their husbands. They don't even cook for their husbands, making Jake ramen noodles. When even what's that elder lady from the Shahrazad Ali even said that the so-called black man, or the Israelite man, I like to say, would be a better term, of all 12 tribes, needs to have the correct nourishment if he's going to go out there and fight for us in the world. He's going to go to the workplace. He's going to protect us. How's he supposed to do these things if he doesn't have the correct nourishment? You're supposed to cook from your man from scratch, home cooked meals, healthy meals, no swine, none of the other foul-ish, and it's the women that buck up, and this has been happening, over the last 30 years or more, and Jake is supposed to function properly, and then women don't want a man, and then what happens? You've got these GMO babies coined by Elder Apostle Rakar, they just shoot everything up, gang, all that ish, wearing them tight pants, carrying a purse, painting their nails, Now, even though Jake was wicked back in the 90s, at least Jake had somewhat of a masculine edge, they wore the fatigues and the Tims and all that, They had that masculine, tough edge. Most Jakes used to push weight, do press ups, and take care of themselves. They had a masculine physique as well. These young lads, man, if you look at them, they all look like they're on crack. They weigh about 90 pounds soaking wet. Bird chest and all that. It's crazy that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, and to love their children. Okay? They don't love their children. They love their children would change nappies. They'll wipe their nose. They'll wipe their backside, wash them, shower them every day. Clean the house. You don't have to live in the most lavish place, but at least keep it clean. All right? As they say, cleanliness is next to godliness, right? All right? That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. Verse 5, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. Okay? The head, 1 second. This is the order of Yahweh Hashem Yashai. 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach. The head of every man is Hamashiach. Every Israelite man is Hamashiach. And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of Hamashiach is the Most High. So, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach. And the head of the woman is the man, the Israelite man. And the head of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai is the Most High, Abanoah Yahweh. Okay, there's a structure. Okay, all right. Like you see a hierarchy in a company, you have the CEO, chairman, and finance manager, and employees, and all that kind of stuff. Right. In the spiritual realm, this is how it's supposed to be in the Israelite world, in the Israelite realm. Okay. All right. That's how it's supposed to be. First Corinthians 11, verse 11 and 9. Okay, and you may have seen that video. Actually, I'll try and find that video. First Corinthians 11 and 9. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman created for the man. Okay, so we weren't created for you. Okay, woman means servant, helpmeet. You're created for us. Now, have you seen a lion in a jungle, right? The lion will be chilling out there, looking clean, with his mane, you know, and his whiskers, looking strong, chilling out with his cubs, all right, and his wives, okay, the lionesses, they'll be doing all the work. They'll be going out hunting or whatever and doing the gathering and all that kind of stuff. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be. The man is supposed to protect. Okay, and in this world, it's supposed to provide. Okay, but for the most part, all the things that are all the other things that are uh, not of a high caliber or of a high scale should be taken care of by the woman. Okay, so if a man goes to work, he can focus on work. He can focus on protecting his woman. He can focus on praying, learning. Okay, learning from the prophets. He can focus on his work. He can focus on his physique, taking care of himself. He can focus on paying the bills. He can focus on protecting his woman, his children, and the woman is supposed to, and also taking care of the heavy stuff in the house, like any wear and tear and repair. If the Lord has blessed him with that kind of knowledge, or at least take care of it, even by phoning somebody up, a repairman. And obviously being present in the house if a male repairman does come. Some kind of whatever you've got to get done in the house. And a woman's job is supposed to keep the house clean. Clothes are washed and ironed. Dinner's made on the table. She cleans herself up. It looks good. The children are in order. She's teaching them good things. And then the man can spend time with his sons and teach them to be men. So there's not too much female influence and too much estrogen influence going towards him to make him effeminate. Okay, so there's got to be a balance. Okay, you need the mother's love, but the sons always need that male counterpart to give them that masculine raw edge. Okay, and the daughters, need their father's guidance and that fear of their father that they can't do no wrong. It doesn't mean you beat your daughters. It means that you've got to be a little stern with your children, especially your sons and your daughters. And your daughters need to know that they have a father who's a good example that loves them, so they can find a counterpart, okay, an Israelite male in the future, or their father can take care of that. So there has to be that balance, man. And that balance has been destroyed. Okay? That's why the boys act like girls now, and the girls act like boys. Okay? And dykism is through the roof. 1 Corinthians 11 and 9. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman created for the man. Okay? Okay. Let me see if I can find that video where a woman getting married doesn't want to obey. I think it was when she said, "Would you obey?" Doesn't want to obey. This is the part. Bride repeats. Here we go. Check this out.
For better.
For better.
For worse.
For worse.
For richer.
For richer.
For poor.
For poorer.
See, she paused on poorer. Okay. And you see, this is the thing with Jake, man. The prophets say this all the time. Okay, there's exceptions out there with so-called black women, but 99.99% of the time, none of them are right. Okay. All right, and yes, there are some beautiful Judite women from like the Congolese and Nigeria that have both parents, and they've got that feminine edge. Okay, you can catch them early when they come to the UK or America. You're gonna be better off if you can. But for the most part, the so-called black woman is gone. Okay, all right. Most Israelite women are messed up, no matter what form they come in. But with Israelite foreigner women, and Northern Kingdom women, they have a little bit more of a feminine edge, and plus they look better too. Okay, but don't get it twisted. So-called black woman, there are some fine ones out there. Okay, but finding a real decent one, a real feminine one that doesn't have that chicken head attitude, if you find a beautiful black woman, so-called black woman, with a real feminine edge, you're blessed, man. Seriously. And yes, they're out there, but hey, it's like, hitting the lottery, But if you can find that, that's a blessing to you. Anyway, let's carry on.
Yeah.
And Jake is second guessing. He's crazy marrying her anyway. But anyway, hope it works out for him. I mean, look at that big grin. Look at that. Without that makeup, look at that. Panic. You see a gum line and everything.
We hit that snag about 20 times and counting.
So this is part one of the Renegade Bride, and you see her freeze up and stumble at the very idea of for richer or poor. And I gotta say again, young man, you need to get away from this woman. She is girlfriend material, maybe, but definitely not wife material. Life happens. Just because you have that good job today does not mean you'll have it next year. Unemployment happens. Layoffs happen. Things will be outside of your control. And you need a woman, you need a wife who is going to understand that. Run, don't walk, get away from this woman.
There's another one here as well where there's one was saying obey. That's the one. Okay, this is the one. Let me see if this is the one.
For work.
For richer.
For richer.
For poor.
Or poorer.
For poor.
Or poorer.
For poorer. Yeah. We hit that snag about 20 times in counseling. Bria made it very clear to Jonathan, you cannot be broke. And in health.
And in health.
To love.
To love.
Cherish.
Cherish.
And to obey.
We didn't talk about that one in counseling.
We did talk about that in counseling.
They needed counseling for. I don't know how they did counseling for this. I've been married before. We never had no counseling. Obviously, I'm not married today, but this is Jake is in a situation, man. The faces she makes and all that. I don't even know how he's even happy with her. Does she even cook and clean and stuff? Or does she just make herself up for him and just give him some good sex and that's about it? She refuses to obey, and when the term poorer is there, she doesn't want to know.
Yes, we did.
And this is a joke to everyone. There's not going to be a joke soon. Why he's sitting up there laughing, though? Run, my brother. Damn, I feel sorry for bro. He will pay for not leaving right there and then, and simps never learn. She don't love this man. See that? All men saying this. Let me see if any women have any common sense. Feminism has taken a soul. You done effed up, big dog. Okay. He's a simp. I should have given himself a nice, pretty blonde Edomite chick. Or a nice Moabite, or Japhetic woman, or whatever, Indian girl or Latina or whatever. Would have had some beautiful children too. Not that we got time here anyway. Not we're going to be here that long, Lord willing, but it's up to him, his life. Anyway, let's go to Micah 7 and 10. Because a lot of you women are doing a lot of wrong, man. A lot of wrong. You're going to suffer for it. Okay, and the term, okay, let's read this. Micah 7 and 10. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord? Yahweh Hashem Yashai thy power. Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. And mire is swampy, boggy ground. So basically she'll be stomped out. Okay? There's that term. She's for the streets. Oh yeah, she's definitely going to be for the streets. She'll be the mire for the streets. Okay? A lot of you feminist women, a lot of you women that were blessed with decent men, decent Israelite men, in this world, okay, and you've done them wrong. A lot of you women that are setting up brothers, uh, getting divorces behind their back and taking their homes when Jake had done nothing wrong to you. Or you may have got bored, or he may have aged, and you've aged too, and he's just working, doing his thing, and you want that attention. Satan is jumping up on you, saying, "Oh, yeah, get out there and find someone new, take this and that and the third, take his wealth, and go out there and get yourself a younger man." You just watch; it's going to come back right on you. Galatians 6 verse 7: you reap what you sow, and you women are going to pay, and rightfully so. And I want to see you go down, because you piss me off, man. Because the way the news that comes out every day, and the way Jake is being done wrong, you know, whichever form they come in around the world, and you see this shit, just pisses you off, man. Pisses you off. Ecclesiasticus 25:19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. That's true, because most women go to places to get black magic done, or whatever kind of magic done to get a man. They want to cause a rift between a man and his ex-wife's children. They want to do everything. Most men do this too. Go to places of enchantment on the left-hand side, satanic shit. Okay, but mainly it's women that do this sort of stuff. And women have this warped thinking mind of doing everything incorrectly to acquire what they want. And women, for the most part, don't have faith, and they're not spiritual at all on the right hand side. Okay, for the most part. Okay, they do everything wicked. Why? Because they want what they want. They're very envious. They're very jealous. That's just a woman's nature in this world, and they can do whatever they got to do to get what they acquire. But when all hell breaks loose and all this comes back on them, which it is gonna very soon, all this is gonna go through your mind those last few seconds before before you get, whatever's gonna happen to you. I'm not gonna say anymore. YouTube police have already knocked off my previous channel, so this is my third one. So Lord willing, I can keep this for a while. And a lot of women, and a lot of you women that are cheating on your husbands, and getting caught out and then blaming him because he's not spending enough time with you. he's working all the hours in the world. He's still laying the pipe, but he's not maybe laying it not enough because a man's tired. Don't you think you should be a bit sympathetic with him? Maybe doing a lot more around the house, so when he comes home, he's got a lot more energy to lay it on you every day. So you go out there and get your back blown out by another man. You women are gonna pay, man. Proverbs 30:20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. That's what you do. You say that, you deny it, saying, you say you'll try and make Jake a fool. Oh, you're seeing things, you're hearing things. That's not true. Oh, that guy, he's my cousin. All that kind of shit. You women are gonna pay, man. You women are gonna pay. Okay, women are gonna pay. Women are gonna pay. Let's go to Galatians 6 verse 7. And this is a general scripture for you crackers too. Okay, you're gonna get your comeuppance. But right now, I'm focusing on the woman, man. All right, you women being followed. You women are getting a comeuppance now, and it's gonna get worse and worse and worse, man. Okay, because we're approaching the end of society, and a lot of you women, are gonna come across certain men that you denied when times are so-called okay. You're going to be on the street stinking, and your facial hair is going to be growing back, and your legs are going to be hairy, and you're going to want that man to take you in. When you had the chance, when you were looking clean and looking fresh and somewhat look feminine, you had that chance to be with that man. That man's going to deny you. Let's just say if it's one of the men of the Lord, then what's going to happen to you? You're going to see that Jake with spiritual power, right? Jakes are going to be picky that day, man. And you women are through, okay? It's the end of the road, man. Quoting Boys to Men. Galatians 6 verse 7. Be not deceived. The Most High Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And don't you people get simple. A man is written here, whatever a man soweth, because a man comes first. Okay, so this also applies to women too. Okay, all right. So it's the end of the road, and we're coming to a point where we're gonna see a lot of judgment go down. All right, I've been hearing it and also seeing it myself, and so it's gonna get worse for you out there, and not for all women. Okay, there are some decent women out there. For the most part, most of you women that fell into this trap of feminism, the trap of not listening to your fathers or your brothers. If you do have a father figure or a manly figure in your life, you listen to your mother that gave you the wrong information, you know, and the wrong advice, you know. Lord willing, if Israelite women can take heed and take heed from any male figure in their life and not listen to this stupid mother or this stupid girlfriends. And any of our Israelite women that hang out with, slightly Edomite women, be careful of them too, okay? They'll lead you astray, okay? Other than that, this is, for the wicked women, which is a good 90% or more, you're going to get your comeuppance, all right? The end of the road for you. Anyway, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.